Welcome to Leadership Speaking Radio, the podcast for professional speakers, industry leaders, and change makers who want to learn how to communicate with impact, authenticity, and human connection in the digital age. My name is Dr. Laura Penn. I'm the founder of the Leadership Speaking School, and I'm your host. Visit my website, theleadershipspeakingschool.com, to find out how we can support you to show up as the best version of yourself every time you speak. Now, let's get straight into our topic. Hello, welcome back, everyone. It's another episode of Leadership Speaking Radio, and man, am I happy that you are here, listening in. This is the second episode of the 6th season. It's episode number 70, and I'm calling it a behind-the-scenes look at the Leadership Speaking Studio. So come in. Enter the magical world of the Leadership Speaking Studio. I'm taking you behind the curtain today to introduce it to you and to reveal this beautiful piece of work that I have created. The Leadership Speaking Studio is the love child of a lot of thinking, a lot of work, a lot of observing, and a gap that I have seen in the industry. And it's a program that I have created for professional speakers, industry leaders, and change makers to accelerate their learning of the craft of speaking. Folks, what I am starting here in Switzerland at the Leadership Speaking School is a place for all of those people that I've just named to come and to upskill in the core craft skills that they need in order to speak with impact and authenticity and gravitas to their many audiences. I started to discover that there aren't a lot of places in the world where professional speakers and industry leaders and change makers can come to get this kind of experience. It's kind of like part boot camp, part intensive training, and part performing arts polish. This is a place that I have built for those elements of speaking to be learned. So you know me by now. This is about what to say, right? The content that is created and how to say it. So this studio is that meeting point where the people that I've mentioned, the professional speakers, industry leaders, and change makers, can come and brush up and polish and learn these skills so that they can be ejected back out into the world in front of their audiences, whether they're delivering keynote speeches or speaking online as an industry leader. Whatever the stage is, to know these tools is to reach a higher level of professionalism in the craft. So this is the behind-the-scenes look at this school, this place, this studio that I have built. I'm calling it the Leadership Speaking Studio because a studio is a place where performing artists do their work. It's the studio where rehearsal happens. It's the studio where it's kind of a laboratory, a place to try things out, a place to experiment, a place to push the edges and to do things that, are playful and experimental. It's also a place to make mistakes and to fall on your face and to stumble in a safe way. So the studio is a place where shirt sleeves are rolled up and sweatbands are put on and where work happens in the performing arts, in theater, in dance, in music, and comedy, and in speaking. The studio is the space where all of those things happen. So I'm calling it the Leadership Speaking Studio because of this. because this is the place where all of those things are going to happen. You're going to learn skills. You're going to try them out. You're going to make mistakes, all the things that I've just described. That's the studio. So that's a little bit of the why I created this. Now, more about the how things will work. This studio is a 3-day experience. And believe me, I've done a lot of experimentation over the past 16 years to figure out the perfect amount of time for my students to learn this craft and then to kind of be ejected back out into the world to actually use the craft. I've tried 7 days, I've tried 5 days, I've tried 2 days, I've tried 1 day, and I've come up with the number 3. 3 days. 3 days might not sound like a lot, but if you consider that the work happens between 8 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night, that's a lot of hours. You do the math. What this is a total immersion into this craft work. The days are basically full-day workshops of doing different speaking projects, trying different things out, going along a continuum of learning that I've built so that you kind of start with the simple and you move towards the profound. That's a good lesson plan. And another really important aspect of the studio is that I ask the students that are selected to be in it to bring a real-world speaking project with them. So something that they're working on for a speaking project that is going to happen in the future, or something that they've done in the past that they want to improve. What I want to do is kind of treat it like a Christmas tree with no ornaments on it, right? So you come into the studio, you have something that you're working on, and as you are learning, it's like we're putting ornaments on this Christmas tree. The ornaments are the techniques. The ornaments are the craft elements. And at the end of those 3 days, you plug that tree in and it is lit up with all of the ornaments and the lights and the sparkles, and you've learned tools, you've learned craft, and you've learned the techniques that can support you to speak and enjoy the experience in front of your audiences. That's the 3 days. And I call this kind of the foundational layer of learning. So you come into the studio kind of fresh off of what you're doing in habits. Some of those habits are not so good for your speaking and for your creation of content. And we kind of unpack your suitcase, pull all the stuff out, look at it at the table, and then piece it back together again over these 3 days, discarding the tools and techniques and habits that you're using that aren't effective and replacing them with ones that are. At the end of those 3 days, not only are you lit up like a Christmas tree, but you have the skills that you need to continue. And that's why the second layer, or the second phase of this learning, is what I call the craft practice layer. So you've done the 3 days, and now you're going to, once a month, join the online community with practicing live in front of each other. So the skills and the tools, they stay robust, and you're practicing in front of your peers, and they're practicing in front of you. So it's a win-win situation of continuing the craft practice. That's the design of the Leadership Speaking Studio. Another important element is that I only invite 6 people to come into this experience at a time. The number 6 is important because 6 gives me that opportunity as the teacher to give a high-touch learning experience to every student. I want to be able to pay attention to the needs of all of my students in the program and to serve you what you need and what you're looking for. So that's why the number is 6. And there's an intake. I have an application process for this studio experience because I want to make sure that this training is something that A, you need, and B, something that I can give you. So there's an application process and an application to fill out where you write down basic answers to questions, what level of speaker are you? What are your challenges and opportunities in speaking right now? How would this program support you? It lets me take the temperature of who you are as a speaker and whether or not I can serve you what you are looking for. Once I choose to take it to the next step, I'll interview you online. And that's just a kind of meet and greet, hi, what are you thinking about this program? Do you have any questions? And I also ask some deeper questions there too. That's the process. And once I see that you're ticking all the boxes for needing this program and being able to benefit from what it has to offer, then you go and marinate about whether you want to be in this or not, right? This is your opportunity to really reflect on the conversation we've had and if this is something that's up your alley. And then you say if you want to join or not. 6 people come to Switzerland, and let me tell you, you get the Swiss Bliss experience. There is so much to enjoy around the edges of what we're doing together just by being here in Switzerland. And it's really important also that you get out of the normal environment that you're in for this kind of training. And it literally takes you away to somewhere else. So I like that it's based at the Leadership Speaking School HQ, and that you can come away for those 3 days and just focus on you. Just focus on doing the work and the embodiment, the, head to toe experience. That's what I've built. That's what this studio is. And man, I'm just so excited to launch it into the world and to bring it to the professional speakers, industry leaders, and change makers who need it. There is a lack of this kind of training that I've noticed, especially in Europe. There are few places where you can go to learn the fundamentals, the building blocks for creating content and delivering it. And there are few places where you can go where you're accelerated and turbocharged into a professional level in such a short amount of time. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be of service and to be the teacher for this program. I don't hire assistants. I don't hire adjunct teachers or trained teachers that I've trained into my method. It's just me as your teacher. And if you have been listening to this podcast for a while or know my work, I've spent the past 16 years perfecting this method of leadership speaking. And it's a tried and true, industry-tested, road-tested way to create compelling content and to deliver it with gravitas. So in our world that is ever-changing, in our world where there's a lack of connection that is authentic, that is felt, and that is remembered, the craft of being able to speak with that impact, or what I call leadership speaking, is what I teach in the Leadership Speaking Studio. And folks, I'm just really happy to say that there is a new cohort that I am building for May 2026. From the 29th to the 31st of May, I am welcoming 6 students to come to Switzerland and to do this work with me for the 3 days. This is the launch, the start, the beginning of this studio experience. I'll probably offer a couple of these sessions a year, depending on how things go and what the demand is. But this is what it's all about. And I'm just so happy to be able to download the information about it here. If you're interested and you want to find out more, go ahead and visit the website, www.theleadershipspeakingschool.com, and scroll down into the section where it says the Leadership Speaking Studio. I lay it all out there in black and white, in words and descriptions and information that is helpful. And if you have any further questions or thoughts about it that you want to know more about, you know how to reach me on that same website. So how about that? The Leadership Speaking Studio, an accelerator for professional speakers, industry leaders, and change makers to learn the craft of speaking. That's what I am revealing to you here in this podcast episode. And I just can't wait to get things started. Who knows? Maybe you and I will show up in Switzerland together and do this important work. Either way, this has been the behind-the-scenes look at what this program is. And man, I'm just so happy to release it into the world. And I look forward to the possibility of working with you in the future. How about that? So that's all for now. Thanks for listening and hope to see your application in the inbox. I'll put more information in the show notes. Thanks for listening.